Here are the ICAN Aero version 2s. They sent these to me for free to show to you guys, and obviously they want me to advertise them to you, but really I'm going to go through this video, show you all the stats and stuff, and see if I can pick them apart a little bit. I'm not an engineer. I think I'm very good at doing ride reviews, but yeah, not specifically an engineer, like Ambini or Pete Talk or something, but I'll do my best for you. I will of course do a ride review in about a month when I've got enough miles on them, so you can figure out what they're actually like to ride on. They are remarkably light. So as always, I'll put the chapters down below. You can skip to anything ahead, or you can see what's coming up, but let's get into the video. You know what, since ICAN are a budget brand, why don't we talk about budget first? And these come in at $670. That is like £498 on the day that I'm filming this. So a sub £500 wheel set, and when we go into the weight a little bit later, that is quite remarkable. So they've got the price down, very competitive, and yeah, lots of good things to say for that price point. But obviously whether a budget wheel set is going to be for you depends on your budget and what you're looking for your bike. But for wheels of this weight, which I'm about to get into, that is a very good price. So that's what I initially thought when I first saw the website. Then I looked a bit deeper, and well, you can clearly see here that they have a UK version, which is the same wheel, and you can see that it's $820, which is, well, more, which is about £615 in the UK. So I assume that's because of like import costs and stuff. And you can see here they do also have a specific EU and US version. So yeah, it seems like, I don't know, for a lot of the world maybe it's $670, but here in the UK it seems like it's a little bit more, annoyingly. So weight, on my scales, these as a pair come in at 1190 grams. It's advertised as 1177, which is still remarkably light. I think we have to remember that weightflation at the moment for wheels is insane. Insane. It was merely 5 years ago where you'll get like a 1400 gram wheel set and you'd be like, wow, these are like the lightest things on the market, they're incredible. Yeah. These are now like 200 grams, if not more, lighter than the top end wheels like just 5 years ago. Unbelievable. But when you look at it compared to competitors, that's kind of like a standard weight nowadays. But then again, you look at the price again, and that weight for that price, incredible. So the weight was the first thing that they updated on these wheels. I didn't get the previous ones, but these are the number 2 version, where they saved like 170 grams. But the next thing they changed is the shape. So they're also another brand that have kind of gone to this like UV shape. Kind of starts off as quite a U shape and then tapers down to like a narrower V to help the airflow attach back together. Now historically the V-shaped wheels, they were a lot more prone to side winds. These UV shaped ones, they're more kind of in line to what DT Swiss have done recently, and they seem to be handling the side winds a bit better, but we'll wait to the real world review testing for that. And they've also changed a few things like the hub style and stuff like that, so let's open up a little few things on here. So taking the free hub off there, you can see actually it's slightly different to the original DT Swiss style. What you might notice is that this side pushes back here, and the spring is behind that, and they've actually got 45 teeth on there now. Basically there's just a spring behind this bit, which I'm not totally sure on the benefits really, but it seems to give a much bigger surface area for these teeth to engage. I don't know if that's going to be any louder or not, but we shall see. One thing I have noticed, when you take the end caps off, they have greased them, which is a good thing. So it should protect the bearings a little bit more. But the next thing I've noticed is that the actual plastic bits, they only have a single flange on here, or edge, so that generally speaking doesn't protect the internals as well, but the tightness on them is very good, so maybe they are sealed enough if you do a lot wet weather riding. Personally, whenever it's wet nowadays, I mainly just do indoor training, to be honest, so wet weather riding doesn't affect me as much anymore, but maybe something to take into consideration if you do a lot of wet weather riding still. The bike is built up with Sapim X-ray spokes, so a steel spoke, nice and flat, nice and skinny. I will say I'm quite an advocate for going back to steel spokes nowadays. they are just generally more comfortable. I know they're not as light as carbon spokes, but cheaper to manufacture and yeah, more comfortable as well. When it comes to bearings, they do come with steel bearings stocked as normal, but they have the option to go up to ceramic bearings, which hypothetically should save you maybe a watt, very small savings. But if you're into racing, then maybe worth it for you. And that's an extra $60 upgrade on what is stocked as normal. It does come with a Sapim Secure Lock spoke nipples, and these are an aluminium alloy, so not the brass. They're going to be a little bit more prone to corrosion, but they are anodized, so I think you'll be okay, generally speaking. Here's what came in the box. They don't come with much, to be honest, but thankfully they do come with tubeless valves if you want to set them up tubeless, which is always a good thing. They also come with a hefty chunk of tubeless rim tape, which is really nice. Just in case you mess it up your first time, you're going to get another go. And this is the thing that I like the most, really. They've come with a wheel tension report, so you can see just how well they've done their tension distribution on the wheels, knowing that these wheels have been set up properly from the factory. So of course, other things that they have done, they have gone wider on the wheels, of course. They've gone to a 23mm internal, and as you can see on the photos here, it actually measures a little bit wider, 23.5 really. And then they say they've gone to a 28mm external rim width, which in today's market is very narrow. Interestingly, when measuring the wheel set, they come out at more like a 29.7, so nearly 30mm wide, which is closer to what I want and what I would expect, especially for the UK. We need to run wider tyres in this country, and therefore aerodynamically a wider rim fits a wider tyre better. I have had a look at the different wheels depending on where they're sending them to, and they are the exact same wheel set. It just depends where they're sending it to or which country. I did actually double check on the website again for what the actual specifications were, and it says 28 on the side, but it's 20 at the top, but it does actually say it's 29.7 at its widest point of the wheel. So this is what's going to come as standard for you guys as well. They have said that these wheels are designed for a 28 to 32mm tyre. They'll obviously measure a little bit wider. Here is what the wheels look like with a 30mm tyre on it. As you can see, they are, well, rather plump. A 30 has come out at 32.5mm. But however, when you put a 28mm tyre on here, well, you can see actually it almost fits perfectly. This is a much better fit. These are the Vittoria Corsa Pros on there, which don't really stretch out very much, not like Pirelli and Continentals do. And you can see that it measures at about 29.5, so slightly narrow in the rim, almost like a perfect transition from the tyre to the rim if you really care about that. I do, weirdly. I can imagine a 28mm Pirelli or Continental measuring closer to 30mm on this one. Now, of course, probably for a sweet spot like an in-between, I would go 28 on the front, 30 on the rear. ICAN, not the coolest brand name in the world, but at least they've done the wheels very nicely, where it's kind of that black on black look, just very subtle logoing. Name of the wheel decals there, can't really see it that much. It's nice and subtle, really small, and would just look like plain black wheels on there when they're on your bike. So they sent me the 40mm version, and they kind of just said, do you want it? I said yes. They do have a 50mm version as well, which I mean, for the Aero versions, I'll probably go for the 50, but with that weight that they've got it down to this sub 1200 grams, if you're looking for a nice climbing wheel set, this might still be the one, but yeah, we'll see on the ride review if it is. Setting up these wheels took less than 6 minutes. This time lapse was very quick, and I ran into 0 issues whilst building these wheels up, which is a nice thing. One thing I probably could mention is, if I wanted to be nitpicky, the cassette body could maybe have a bite guard. This is like an extra steel strip on one of the splines of the cassette. Basically, these cassettes are very lightweight, super light aluminium, and they get bent into quite easily by the cassette. Not really an issue, but it's just nice to have that extra thing there for like, what, like 5 grams maybe? Alright guys, there they are, wheels on, and actually that 40mm deep, because the Seeker Spear is an all-rounder bike, they don't look too shallow, if you know what I mean. They look perfectly fine on there. I was worried they were going to look too shallow and not good enough. Alright, let's weigh this thing in now. We are at riding weight, so I've got cages, pedals, front mount, everything on basically, as you would ride it, and the chain's off at the moment, so I just chucked it on there. We've got 7.07 kilos there. I will say these wheels do have a little bit of a disadvantage. The bike initially weighed 7.2 with my other wheels on there, but that is with a Dura-Ace cassette, Dura-Ace front and rear disc rotors, and these are all Ultegra on here, so you could probably add a few grams on there. So if you put the Dura-Ace back on here, probably going to be pushing that 7 kilo mark for a 58 size frame, which is well, this is pretty damn light for a bike this big. I obviously need to state that the tyres are different here as well, guys. These are Vittoria Corsa Pros, Continental GP5000 standard version, not the STRs, so they are lighter. They're about 240 grams, and these are about 280 grams for 28s, and it's a 28 and a 30. So realistically, there's probably about another 50, 60 grams weight saving on that, as well as the Dura-Ace components plus the tyres, then these have a little bit of a disadvantage. I'm not changing all my tyres out all the time, it takes too long. But yeah, so super impressive weight with these tyres, with that group set on there. So here they are, guys, the ICAN Aero 40s. I'm very much looking forward to riding them. I'm hoping they feel like sharp and snappy. They're very light wheel set, and well, I think quite a good looking wheel set, maybe a little bit narrow. If you have any specific questions or things that you think I've missed, please put them in the comments down below. Other than that, I'm going to be reviewing these in about a month, so if you're looking for that review, please do subscribe and you'll see it when it comes out. But other than that, I've been Jason, this has been Cycling Unboxed. I'll see you in another video.